Hello and welcome to episode 29 of Things We Play. It's Tuesday the 7th of August. My name is Mike Oldman and I am here with Sean Hart.
Hello.
And Joe Tanessa.
Hello.
Hello guys, how are we?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you okay, Sean?
Not bad.
Not bad. 7 days have passed, 7 action-packed gaming days. The games are starting to come out now.
Yeah.
It's actually for the first time we can go, games are here, they're coming. They're coming. They've started coming.
I've seen them.
There was a retail release this week.
Yep.
In the shape of Risen 2.
Yep.
We'll reserve judgment at this point in the podcast for how good Risen 2 is, but it's a retail release, which is important. And more are coming. Sleeping Dogs is only around the corner.
Yeah.
And then what? The onslaught of
There's Transformers.
Christmas releases.
There's Darksiders 2.
Darksiders 2. Yeah, there's loads coming. So, yeah, business as usual.
We're back.
Business isn't quite good, but it is getting back to as usual. So, 7 days. You don't just play games. What have you been up to? Joe, tell me your life.
I've not been up to anything interesting this week. I've just been revisiting old shows.
Revisiting old shows.
What have you been watching?
Firefly. Went back to that. Watched a few episodes.
Yeah, Danny's been watching Firefly.
Never seen Firefly.
It's good. It's worth a watch.
awesome.
Not a big fan of Nathan Fillion.
Oh.
If I'm perfectly honest, not a big fan. I saw what was the movie Serenity?
Yeah.
Saw that in the movies. Saw that in the movies.
In the cinema.
I went to the movies, people. I saw that in the cinema, and it was like it wasn't. Well, it's not technically a Firefly movie, is it?
Yeah.
It is a Firefly movie.
It's basically the end of the TV show.
Oh, okay. Well, everyone was kind of like, yeah, it would help if you'd watched Firefly, and I hadn't. And I watched I keep wanting to say Serendipity, which is that John Cusack movie.
Terrible film.
No, that's all right. Come on, it's a rom-com, but it's all right. But everyone was like, yeah, you should see Firefly before you see Serenity. I didn't, and then I watched Serenity and thought, this is shit.
No, Serenity's really
It felt like Stargate.
Yeah, that's why it's awesome.
And I don't like Stargate.
Stargate is top TV viewing, mate.
All right. It seems weird because, certainly within the gaming geek community, which I guess is where we fall, Nathan Fillion's quite a big dude. You know, he was obviously Firefly's, quite successful. He was in how many Halo games?
He's in 3.
He's in 3. He's in ODST.
Yeah.
And I think he does voices in Reach.
Yeah.
So he's like a big, you go to Comic-Con, you're going to see Nathan Fillion, and you're supposed to be like, yeah, Nathan Fillion. I wish he'd play Nathan Drake in Uncharted, It's like,
there are rumours that he's going to.
He's not going to.
I know. It was like there was rumours he was going to play Green Lantern.
He's not going to.
Well, no, obviously, because he didn't.
That's Deadpool.
I've never seen him in anything great. He's in Slither or Slithers.
Yeah, Sliver. Yeah, Sliver wasn't fantastic.
No, exactly.
I think literally only the mayor is funny in that film.
He's kind of like, well, what makes Nathan Drake again? And it actually, because there are similarities. Like Nathan Drake is just Nathan Fillion, I guess. But what makes Nathan Fillion watchable and attractive and why people like him is kind of he's that sort of like chilled out, happy-go-lucky, sort of charming rogue, yeah? That's kind of him. But he just doesn't look... He's not particularly exciting to... If he looked like Tom Cruise, who's kind of like a... I'm trying to find a good way of saying a good-looking chap, yeah? Like a star.
Gay.
like a star, though. Nathan Fillion doesn't look like a star. He looks like my bank manager.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And it's like, yeah, okay, he's cocky like Spider-Man, but that's it.
TV...
My bank manager was cocky like Spider-Man, I wouldn't put him in a movie.
He's kind of TV good-looking, he's not movie
good-looking.
Yeah,
that's why he mainly does TV shows.
It's kind of your mum would fancy him good-looking, yeah? And so I'm not a big Nathan Fillion fan.
I am.
Well, you like Firefly?
I like Castle. Castle's awesome.
Is he in Castle?
Yeah, he's the lead character in Castle for the last few years.
Okay. I don't know anything about Castle. It was about the Punisher.
Not that Castle.
Is it about the Racketeer?
No. He just plays a writer whose last name is Castle.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So what else have you been watching? You've watched Firefly. Come on.
I watched Punisher Warzone again.
What, after watching
after
Dirty Laundry?
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? That's the one with... Who plays the Punisher? Some wrestler.
Is he?
He's got to be a wrestler.
No, I don't think he is. He looks really familiar.
It's Slamming Jack!
Yeah, no, I like Warzone because it's like really violent.
Yeah, that's because it's got a wrestler in it.
He's not a wrestler.
Are you sure he's not a wrestler? Can someone
sure
fact check that? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like fucking Triple H or something.
We'll have a look on the break, but I'm pretty sure he isn't.
All right, okay. So you like that? I've not seen Warzone.
Yeah, no, I like Warzone because he doesn't wear Punisher wears the t-shirt and the jacket. In this, he's just like dressed in massive body armor with the Punisher on it, and shoot loads of people, and it's really violent. It's pretty awesome.
Okay.
I like it, but
Yeah, I'm willing to bet it's probably not
yeah,
great.
it's probably dog shit.
I just like ridiculous action. That's why I love Expendables.
You keep going on about that. Like, I've always defended you in your Expendables chat because Sean thinks it's shit and you think it's great. And the truth is, it's somewhere in between that, right? It's not terrible, it's not brilliant, but for mindless action, it's okay. But if you keep bringing it up every 10 seconds, I'm going to have to start siding with Sean.
Well, it's because it's one of the only films that I know most people have seen. Because I love 80s action, so I've watched all the old 80s action movies, and most people I know have never really watched them.
That's because you're 5.
But that seems like a weird reason to like a movie just because other people have seen it.
It's not the reason I like it, it's the reason I discuss it.
Yeah, I think he's using it as a point of reference.
Right, okay. Anything else? You've watched Firefly and Punisher Warzone.
I've been finishing up Psych and there's other bits and pieces,
right.
but...
That's fine. You're you're doing a lot of TV watching these days.
Yeah.
Which is good to
He's
know.
always done a lot of TV watching.
Well, yeah, that's true, but he does a lot of talking about TV watching now. Have you heard him go on about his Expendables rant? Jesus. So, what about you, Sean? You've been up to much?
I've been playing video games, now that there are some.
Yeah, that helps.
I've done little bits and pieces, did Optimus Prime pencil drawing this up.
Yeah, I saw that. On the Twitters.
Yeah, which needs to be inked and shaded and blah, blah, blah. Finished off Deadpool, which I've run up in ink, but he hasn't been shaded.
Okay.
And that's been handed over to Chris Floco, who's Megaran's album artist, and he's thinking about colouring it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it might be interesting to see what comes out. Because he uses Photoshop where I use Illustrator, so the final render will be a lot different to everything I do. But other than that, not a vast amount, no. Just been gaming.
Well, that's pretty good. I've had a bit of a weird week. My internet got cut off. Which is great. That's like a real demoralising and confusing situation to find ourselves in.
Life is hard without the internet.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, day one, like, okay, cool, I'll go outside, I'll do some stuff, I'll maybe read a book. Day two, you're like, what's going on? Like, I feel like I'm in 28 days later and I've just kind of woken up and no one's around. You know, and
the rest of the world has just disappeared.
You know, like I'm running down Oxford Street and it's like, where the fuck is everyone? There is no one around. You just don't hear. Everything's really quiet without the internet, which is kind of bizarre. And it's now been like 4 or 5 days now. And that has
cold
destroyed
turkey starting to kick in.
I'm now sort of like hanging around Wi-Fi hotspots where I know the password just so I can just sort of get
McDonald's,
the updates. Yeah, you know, and I get internet through my phone obviously, so I can still like tweet and various other nonsense. But that is not enough.
No,
that's not fun at all.
Pretty shitty.
You never realise how much you need the internet until it's gone.
Yeah, oh yeah. And also the bummer on that was I downloaded Deadlight the day that the internet went off. And then since then, my Xbox hasn't allowed me to play the full game of Deadlight, which is fucking brilliant. So thanks a lot, internet.
But you have played demo.
I have played the demo, yeah, which we'll go into in a little bit. So I did that. In the meantime, without my internet, I've been watching a lot of movies. I watched the first Sherlock Holmes movie.
Yep.
Been recommended a lot, and I'd never seen it. I read the script.
Who's in that? Peter Cushing?
Yeah. Okay, so the 2011 or 2009 Sherlock movie with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law. I'd never seen it. I read the script because I did some work on a browser game for them to promote it when it came out, and it's not bad.
Yeah, no, I quite like both of them. Yeah,
like I was unsure. Like it's not a setting that really interests me all that much, and I like Robert Downey Jr. So you know, I don't like Jude Law. I'll give it a try. His accent really kind of bugged me throughout the whole movie. Because he's kind of a little Jack Sparrow-like in that movie. He's kind of trying to do that Johnny Depp Jack Sparrow thing. But I enjoyed it. It was alright. I've got the second one now, but I haven't watched all of that yet. That seemed to be even more pushed into the, hey, check me out, I'm Johnny Depp sort of vibe. But Sherlock Holmes, he just beats the shit out of everyone in like everything, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, you know, not a terrible movie.
And it's quite weird that Sherlock, the TV show, came out roughly around the same time from BBC, but it's kind of polar opposite. In Sherlock Holmes, in that is a bit shit.
So I've not seen that either. Is that Modern Times?
Yeah.
Okay, which is kind of a nice
he doesn't really fight in it. He kind of gets into the odd scrape, but he's no Iron Man.
Yeah. No, well that's fair enough, isn't it? So I watched that. I also watched Zack and Miri Make a Porno because I'd forgotten about that. That's a whole Kevin Smith movie that I'd forgotten even existed. And he's actually really funny.
I think there's a couple of Kevin Smith movies I'd forgotten actually existed.
Like Jersey Girl.
Yeah.
But
Chasing Amy.
Chasing Amy's, come on, that's great.
Shit.
I don't mind Chasing Amy.
It's shit with like 2 moments of absolute hilarity.
Yeah, but that's kind of what Kevin Smith movies are.
No.
So I watched those. I watched the first episode of Lost Room, Is it Lost Room, Joe?
Yeah.
It's Lost Rooms. Or
No,
Lost
it's
Room?
Lost Room. There's only one room that's missing.
Yeah.
Which is an old TV show that you plugged me into.
Yeah.
And you, Sean,
Yeah,
both recommended it.
It's good.
It's all right. It's all right. It's
You need to stick with it. Yeah, at this point, it's quite dated. The acting in it's quite crappy, but the concept behind it is quite interesting.
It's a bit random. So what the concept is, you've got this room, there's a magical key that opens up any door and takes you to a weird room, and then there's items in the room that have weird magical powers, and that's really strange, like a biro that kind of burns people,
It's
and
it hits them with lightning,
and a bus pass that makes people disappear.
and turn up in Texas or somewhere.
Yeah, it's I'll give it. I need to watch some more of it.
When you kind of say it, it doesn't sound fantastic. When you say there's a bus pass that makes people disappear, you're like, what? But when you see it in action, it kind of makes a bit more sense.
I guess. I mean, everything I hear about this, and in fact, everything I've seen in the first episode, makes me not surprised that it was cancelled after 6 episodes.
Well, it's like a mini-series,
Yeah.
and it was trying to get like a
Yeah,
pilot
sure.
series.
It's like a pilot series.
Yeah.
But I can see why it didn't go
Yeah.
any further.
But no, once you kind of hit the last episode, there's like some crazy fucking shit going on, man, and it's like
I'll check it out.
It's
I'll
good.
check it out. I mean, it's interesting for it coming before Heroes and Lost and all that sort of stuff. It's sort of like a It's impressive
prelude
for
to them.
early television.
Yeah.
Not early television. But it's previous for like it's impressive for television that's older than you'd think. But I'll give it more of a watch. Other than that, I don't think a great deal has really happened, to be honest, in my little life.
No.
Let's talk about some games, because games came out and we managed to play some. Where do we start? Joe, me and you picked up some Borderlands. You were playing it last week.
Yeah, I was.
And I grabbed a copy, your second copy.
Yes.
And we toured up online to do it. I actually thought I had my old save game from when I played it originally, so I was expecting to have like a level 40 character and go in there and just destroy everything. And then I get a message while I'm playing it from Joe saying, "Well, that doesn't look like a level 40 character." And I'm like level 12 or something because I'd lost my save game and I had to start again. Although you rank up really fast at the beginning.
Yeah, especially when you got someone doing everything for you.
No, but I was already like level 14 or something when we hooked up, and then...
No, you were about level 12 when we hooked up, and you finished at 16 after about an hour.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Actually, it was quite good fun. Sort of the communication was dump because I was talking to you for like an hour, and you weren't even just like
It was for 5 minutes, and I completely forgot to put my headset on.
You know, like when you find out when you've met up with someone online, and you never know if you're not someone you play with often, you never know if they're gonna put a headset on. So I didn't know if Joe was gonna put a headset on. I know if me and you were gonna play, Sean, that you're gonna put a headset on and we're gonna chat. So when that happens, when I'm in a situation with someone and I don't know if they're gonna put it on or if they've even got it on, I just talk for ages. Anything. I'm just like broadcasting. So that's what I was doing, and then
But it's a habit that I get into. Is I never really use in-game chat. I always use a party. If I'm just playing with one other person, I'll always start a party.
Yeah, see, I never really use parties. It's only we use parties for Halo.
Yeah.
That was the reason I did. But yeah, so we played that. We toured around for a bit. It's all right. It's kind of aimless, that game.
Yeah.
That's my only issue with it. It's kind of like
It's
like,
not. It's not very well structured.
No, you get kind of
It's just point A to
floaty.
point A to point B, and just shoot everything in between.
Yeah. And we kept having other dudes joining our party.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Random guys. And
I'm sure all 6 people online are desperate to find other people to play with. That's
no, loads of people are still playing Borderlands. Borderlands is incredibly successful.
It's a shit game.
There's loads of people playing it. It's awesome. It's not shit.
It's good fun.
It's just
what is it that you don't like about it?
I've got issues with the fact that there's no sort of voice talk from the NPCs for a start, so it feels like you're playing a PlayStation 2 game and everything's just delivered in text. And initially when I was playing it, I didn't have high definition, so that was an issue.
Yeah.
When it came out, I was still running standard definition, so I couldn't actually read any of the fucking text anyway. And then, it is exactly that. It's aimless. You just kind of wander around shooting stuff, picking up guns and swapping them for other guns, and all the guns look the same. They're just slightly different colours, and some of them are in blue text,
but they do different. How is that? I can't see how it's massively different to something like Skyrim. Apart from the voicing on the characters, I'll give you that. There's not a lot of voicing. There is on some.
But the thing that Bethesda does really well, or ZeniMax specifically, is that they have perks and stuff that you want, so there's a compulsion to leveling up. When I was looking at the soldier character on Borderlands, I only ever played as a soldier.
Why? You're playing as a soldier as well, Joe. And it's like, why have you both chosen soldier? It's the least exciting one of the lot.
Because he seemed like the one that I'd have the most advantage with at the beginning of the game.
Oh, that's a terrible way to make a decision. You should
Not
go for the one
really.
that looks like the most exciting. Why do you need an advantage at the beginning of the game? The beginning of the
Because
game's
the beginning
nursing you.
the beginning of the game is always the toughest.
Nah.
We'll come to this when we talk about Risen.
It's out of habit that I pick soldier. I always go with soldier. I always pick the main sort of backbone of any sort of group.
I always go for the one that's most exciting. I was a hunter in it, and it's kind of like, it's cool. I've got a bird of prey that kind of flies around taking people out and stuff. Way more interesting than just generic meathead.
But my issue with it is that, none of the perks are at all interesting.
I think that's partly down to what you chose, but I can see a point of, if perks aren't interesting, then
there's no compulsion to leveling, and then there's
I think this game has massive amount of compulsion to keep you going and because it's constantly rewarding you. You're like, whoa, I didn't know I was going to get this, and oh my god, I've leveled up again. You level up like so often, and that kept me going a lot. I really like it. I think the sequel will hopefully correct a lot of things and make it much more fleshed out and sort of solid experience, because it is a bit loose. You kind of aren't doing anything really specific. I get too many quests. I kind of hate having like 8 quests on the go at once, and I never can figure out what I'm doing. I also don't like in Borderlands where you load different portions of the world. I kind of don't like that. You've got like
it's kind of multiple hub world.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really like that. I know there's like limitations of the environments and stuff, but that puts me off. But it was cool. Me and Joe had a reasonably good time doing it. It's kind of not always the best experience if you're playing with someone who is 10 levels ahead of you.
Yeah,
I was just running around with a shotgun, decimating everything.
I mean, out of the 2 times that I played with other people on Borderlands, I played with Adam, who's our old boss at Game Station, and he was like, maybe 5 or 6 levels ahead of me, and so like his enemies were like really tough. And if you're doing 2 players, I think it gives you the same amount of enemies as if you was doing 4 players as well.
No,
they might have patched that, but
it's
I'm
not
pretty
the
sure
amount
that's
of
how
enemies;
it was.
it's how difficult they are.
No, but that's due to whose game you're in.
No, it's when you add more people, they up the difficulty of the enemies as well, so they increase their levels.
So the fact that I joined his game, he was a higher level than me.
Yeah.
So I constantly just died over and over again.
But then similarly, you get more experience from that,
you level faster. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, I think you need to ideally be playing with people at the same level to get the best experience.
Yeah, I think the second time I played, when I was playing with Kieran, we was about the same level. He might have been a level higher than me or something, and that was more enjoyable.
I also find the menu system's just really clunky for Borderlands. The whole inventory and swapping stuff out, and the way it all you can sort your items into, like, you're like, have I got that equipped? Am I carrying that? I'm carrying 4 shields and 8 weapons, but I can only equip 2 weapons and 1 shield, and it's not always clear which shield I've equipped, and I can't easily compare stats. That was my other big issue. Like in Warcraft and things like that, I need to be able to see, like, okay, is this sword better than this sword? That's all I need to know, and it's not. You can do it. Of course, you can do it in Borderlands, but it's not as visually clear as I want it to be.
I never really had any problem with the menu system in Borderlands. For the first sort of 5 seconds when I went back into it, my second time playing through, I was like, okay, so that's how it works. But yeah, it's just never really affected me.
This is the main reason why when we were playing, Joe, that you were running around killing everything. It's because I was too busy sorting out my inventory and going, do I want this gun? Do I not want this gun? And it's just that weird thing where when you pick up a gun, it like replaces one you're carrying, and that really fucks me up. Sort of like, where's it gone? Am I holding this gun now? Where is it?
Has it got a slot limit or is it a weight limit?
It has a slot limit,
Both.
but you can increase. It doesn't have a weight limit.
Does it not have a weight limit? Okay. Yeah, you can carry loads of weapons, but you can only equip 2 at first, then 3, then 4.
You run out of slots really quickly. Yeah. I don't know if I'd increase my slots.
Also, aiming down the sights in that game is terrible. The
doesn't
sights,
work.
No, it's awful. The gun blocks too much of what you're actually going to be.
It's like iron sights.
Yeah.
I have issues with iron sights. Period.
Well, yeah, but this is done badly. That's the other thing. It's like, it's all right if you've got a scope.
Yeah.
Or any sort of reticle on there, but if it's just like a pistol or an SMG, it just blocks too much, and you're like, oh man, I don't know where I'm aiming now. And you need to aim down the sights.
I've never really had problems with iron sights in games. With Borderlands, they just don't work.
Yeah, they're just badly done.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with iron sights. It's just Sean being weird. But yeah, Borderlands does execute that poorly. So yeah, played some Borderlands. That was quite nice. That set me up nicely for 2. I think.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'll be keen for that and see what changes they made. I've not really followed it very much, so I'm hoping that they're gonna make good in it. And Gearbox, I've got a lot of love for Gearbox, a lot of time for them. They seem to be level-headed chaps, Randy Pitchford, and is anyone called Randy, got to be an alright sort of guy. So all right, well, what else have you been playing? Tell me something you've been playing, Joe.
Picked up Risen 2 on Friday.
Risen 2. You both
Yeah.
picked up this.
Yes.
I didn't actually try to rent it because it's not a purchase for me, and it's no one had it.
Yeah.
Small release.
Yeah, I didn't think.
Did anyone play Risen 1?
I did.
Yes, briefly.
Okay.
It was bad.
I played it until I broke the game.
I don't really know much about them, but these are RPGs. Yeah?
Yes.
Third person.
Yeah, the first Risen was sort of held as the carry on from Gothica, the Gothica series.
Okay.
It was like the next step really, but just changed the name.
Like a spiritual successor.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, but I couldn't remember it.
You should have found those words.
Yeah.
All right, so Risen 2 then, pirate themed.
Yes.
Which is the most interesting part of it, yeah? It's Pirates of Darkwater, is that the subtitle?
No.
No, it's just Darkwater.
Pirates of Darkwater was a cartoon from the 90s where they had lightsabers.
What?
Noijitat. You don't remember
That's
Pirates of Darkwater?
No, he made the reference before we started recording. I was just like, what are you on about?
It's just Darkwater.
All right, okay, so pirates though.
Yes.
How does that? That sounds pretty cool. I'm like almost down for that. I'm like, it almost makes me want to play it. But that's the only reason.
You would hate it.
Yeah.
You'd switch it off within probably 20 minutes of
All
playing
right.
it.
High fives.
Right. Well, the voice acting's dreadful. The animation's dreadful. The character models are shocking. The combat initially is just dump. I'm really addicted.
Okay. Who makes it? Who makes it and publishes it? Do we know?
It's a weird company that I've never heard of. It's a couple of companies I've never heard of.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Any logos pop up at the beginning that you
Yeah, no, there's
I'll
three
skip
logos
them.
that pop up. Only one was partially sort of.
All right, but who publishes
Oh,
it?
it's
gotta
a
be
cow.
Oh, it's Deep Silver. Deep Silver publish it.
Deep Silver. Okay.
Yeah, who creates it? Just some random company, I think.
Yeah, it's a cow on a piranha bites.
Oh yeah, it's like Piranha. There's a company. It's called Piranha.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the game.
I didn't play a massive amount of Risen. I played it for a while and then decided that I really didn't like it, and I'll go back to it later. I never did. But yeah, like Sean was saying, it's just fucking shocking the way it's presented. The character moves so slowly as well. It's like the camera's slow.
There is a run button, Joe.
I know, but it's just at first, I hate it. I will try and get better at it, but
It's kind of got that Fallout thing where you need to kind of push through all the limitations and all the things that hold you back from playing it. You don't get your own ship. You don't become your own pirate captain until about 13 hours into the game.
Okay, but you do get that.
Yes,
which is quite cool.
Which is the point I'm at now. So I'm jumping between islands. And
so
stuff.
who are you? What's your deal? Are you starting off? Is it like a Fable thing? Are you starting as some kid and growing up?
No,
or
it's a
you
carry-on.
Guybrush and I want to be a pirate and.
No, it's a carry on from the first game. So you're playing as a member of the Inquisition, which are basically the naval police. There's kind of events that are carried on from the first thing. Is that there's 3 Titans have been released on the world, and it's your mission from the Inquisition to go off and infiltrate pirates to find a secret super magic weapon to kill the Titans and their leader Mara.
Okay. I swear when it started, it was you were only out after the Kraken. It didn't mention other ones. It was just the Kraken.
Well, you've played about an hour, and
Yeah.
I've played about 20 hours.
Yeah, no, it's just the way it started. It only presented one, but I did get to the second island where you're trying to find the pirates. And it was like, yeah, find the pirates. It doesn't give you a map of your area.
No,
it doesn't give you markers.
Yeah, in this respect, it is kind of real sort of tough. The whole experience of it is that it just lets you kind of do your own thing. The maps are open, so they're kind of sandbox, and you just got dense jungle, and there's fucking crazy shit running around in them that try and kill you all the time. As I say, combat at the beginning is dump. It's got a really weird perk system in it. You level up through gaining glory, so you just get glory, and it just racks up, and it's up to you to go into your menu system and see what you can afford to buy to get to the next level in that area. So things are broken down into cunningness for pickpocketing and talking to people. Swordplay for swordplay and stuff. Guns as well, because you get pistols and you get blunderbuffs and all that sort of malarkey.
Yeah, sure. Pirate garb.
Yeah. And then it kind of getting equipment as well is really tough. But when you come to buy perks, you buy them from people. So you go to and talk to an individual, and you say, for example, he's a thief, so he can teach you more in the way of thievery and up at your cunning. You need X amount of gold to buy that from him, but you also need to be the relative level to get it from him as well.
Okay.
So you have to kind of grow your glory as well as having the gold to buy that actual move.
That makes sense.
It does, but at the beginning you'd like scraping together kind of like 500, and you need to spend that on grog for your health when you're out in the field, and you need to get better swords and stuff, as well as kind of buying new abilities. And like sword fighting at the beginning is a shit. All you do is press X and guard, and people are like fucking knocking your sword out of your hand and punching you in the face and stuff, and you can't do any of that crap. So you need to put the time in to get the reward from this game. I can't stress enough. You need to put the time in. I am seriously addicted to it. I don't even want to be here. I want to be at home playing Risen.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's a good sign, surely.
Yeah,
that's the RPG way. You invest, you reap the rewards.
Yeah,
so.
certainly.
What does it look like? Does it look alright?
No, it looks crap.
I've not seen
terrible.
anything for this game. I think that's the other thing. It kind of snuck out. No one really knew. Is it coming out Friday? Is it not coming out Friday? Like no advertising whatsoever. Just by the way, Risen 2. Here you go.
Yeah, every time I put hashtag in on Twitter, I can press that hashtag and everything I've ever mentioned about Risen 2 is there, because there's about 5 tweets about it.
Yeah, sure. So nobody's
playing
discussing
this. But I think it's kind of one of those games that it might achieve cult status. The fact you go out as a pirate at the end, that's pretty badass. There was the Pirates of the Caribbean game that sounded fucking awesome.
I can't remember what it was called.
Martyr of the Damned.
Which just got canned, which was the fucking
It
shame.
was like almost finished as well when it got canned.
Yeah.
I suppose in kind of 10 years' time you'll be able to get a ROM of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if ROMs still exist for like modern games now. You don't pick up like a ROM of Just Cause 2.
No,
you pick up
not now, but in 10 years.
So any co-op or anything in this?
No, it's purely single player.
Okay. But you're going to play it some more. You're going to play some more, Joe?
Yeah, I want to go back to it and play it. I always wanted to go back to the first one and play it, because the first one had the same appeal as the second one, that it was cult, and once you got through so many hours it became good. But I could never
get that far into it. Yeah,
no, I don't think anyone could.
Yeah, I just fucking gave up on Risen 1.
Yeah, never touched either of them. It's like when you look at games, some of them they go into a tier system. You can see when you're looking at a game on a shelf whether it's like an A game, a B game, or a C game. Yeah, and Risen 2 are both C games.
Yeah.
Sure. So you're like, well, maybe if all
they are in the same category as Gothica, as what's the other one? Two Worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like kind of like you look at the back and it goes, that looks like a PC RPG. Don't want to fucking touch that.
Fair enough. Well, I'm glad I dodged it. But it's cool that you're getting, that you're enjoying it anyway. That's kind of a weird...
Yeah,
it's a good time for a game like that.
Yes, yeah,
very much maybe 3 weeks earlier would have been a bit nicer.
Yeah, it would have been fucking awesome.
But that's
I've finished it by now.
So I've been playing a lot of Blur. Remember Blur when it came out?
Yeah.
It's Bizarre Creations.
Yeah.
Was it their last game?
Last driving game, wasn't it?
Last driving game. Was Bloodstone their last game?
Maybe.
Bizarre Creations being the Project Gotham guys.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a weird game. It's kind of
Mario Kart for grown-ups.
Basically, yeah.
Do you not remember the trailer?
Yeah, it was Mario Kart for grown-ups.
Yeah,
exactly. It was entirely that. It was all cartoon and sort of happy-go-lucky, wasn't it? And the game's kind of really odd because they've got, and I feel sort of cheated by it, which is kind of what's strange. It would be a really big and awesome Xbox Live Arcade game.
Yeah. And
that's what it feels like. It feels like an Xbox Live Arcade game, although it is quite a massive game, but doesn't feel like a retail game. And that's where you kind of get a bit gypped by it. I had it sat on the side and I thought, I'll give it a go. I've never played it. And now I've put about 10 hours into it and nearly gone through the entire career mode, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play it because that and Split Second came out maybe a week.
Yeah, exactly, at the same time, yeah.
And Split Second appealed to me more.
Split Second, I think, is better.
Right.
I think Split Second is better. It's more interesting sort of racing game. But this is kind of weird. So it's got all the cars and stuff you'd expect from Project Gotham, all very serious, vehicles and normal vehicles. And then the Mario Kart aspect of it is it's got power-ups. It's got just standard Mario Kart power-ups. It's got like a red shell. You've got like a rainstorm of electricity you can fire down at the person in the first place. You've got mines. You've got missiles. All those sorts of things. And that's kind of all right. It's kind of like sensible, realistic handling. It's not got Mario Kart handling. I think that's kind of where it falls down a little bit. It's not as pick up and play as Mario Kart.
So, what, can you drift?
Yep, and you have to.
Okay.
And so all the cars have different, attributes. Obviously, they're faster, or some of them are lighter, or driftier, or grippier, or whatever. And so that makes actually playing it quite challenging.
Yeah.
Makes it quite a sensible, serious racer, but with power-ups on top of it. It doesn't look particularly special.
Sure.
It looks kind of like a good XBLA game. That's kind of my only issue. It's like, yes, this would be a great XBLA game. Everyone would buy it. But as it is, no, everyone's buying Split Second.
Or was.
Yeah, it was by a split second. It's all right. I think the main reason I felt cheated is because I feel like Bizarre Creations had all of these assets left over, and they've not done much to this game. You know, like it makes sense to kind of put out a game if you model all these cars, you've recorded all the sound effects, you've got them all looking nice for your previous 4 games or whatever. Makes sense to try to use them again and bash them out for something else. And a nice idea, you know. Cool. And it's one of the best Mario Kart-ish games, certainly on the Xbox 360, because it's not kiddie-based. It's not Sega
All-Star
Racing. Although, I've just thought of the game that beats it, which I need to play again, Cars 2. Remember how good Cars 2 was? Cars 2 was a freaking awesome game, but then no one bought it because it was Cars 2.
Yeah, I know.
So Blur, it's all right. It's like it's absolute sacrilege that a racing game can come out, especially from Bizarre Creations, and not have a replay mode in it at all.
Yeah.
Like after I finished the race, there's no replays whatsoever, which is just kind of shocking. But it's got a nice little reward system, you know, standard credits based thing. Where you're going up levels and then you're unlocking new cars and stuff, but really, really basics. There's no extra to it. There's a brief photo mode if you want to take a crap photo and upload it to Blur's website for no reason whatsoever. I can do that, but other than that, it's just kind of like, this is it's a confused game. And the levels are really confused as to what it wants to be. It's like, are you trying to be a serious racer? Are you trying to be a Mario Kart clone? There's one level, and in the first section, first cup of levels, that's like an airfield, and there's like an airplane that dusts crops, that like dumps its load on top of you as you're driving by.
Right.
There's like a massive jump through a warehouse window and other planes and shit going on, and it's like, that's kind of, it reminded me of Split Second.
Yeah.
And then other levels are just like, I'm racing around Brighton and nothing changes or happens.
And that's more like Project Gotham.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, this is weird. I enjoyed that more. I enjoy the crazy levels more, so I don't really understand why that's the case. But Blur's alright. If you could pick it up for a tenner, I would totally recommend it.
Okay.
Because it's not a bad racing game, and I feel like I kind of wanted a racing game again.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I played a racing game. But you look at that and you'd be like, well, that's not going to sell, and also that's.
I think it sold alright.
I don't think. Well, it closed. I mean, Bizarre Creations got closed down by
through us
Activision.
specifically.
Yeah.
And then we was knocking it out at 45 quid.
Okay.
I do remember there never being any copies around, really. Like 1 or 2
might
maybe.
be
It was
limited print.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a big release it was, but
So maybe I just remember people asking for it all the time.
Yeah. Well, and Activision shuttered, Bizarre Creations almost immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
So it seems like the writing was already on the wall for that. But yeah, it's an alright game.
But don't hold your breath for a sequel.
No, never again. What are Bizarre Creations doing now? Well, they're gone. They've gone completely, aren't they? They've split and created a couple of iOS developers. Hog Rocket was one of them, which is what Ben Ward, who was the community guy there, moved on to do. Nice guy, but it seems to be what happens. There's loads of developers these days going, I'm just going to be an iOS developer now. That's what we're going to do. Little indie titles, it's fine. It's like, really? It's like, who's going to be left to make these big games? All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I had a go on Seedling.
Xbox Live indie game.
It's not Xbox Live, no. It was on,
What is it?
It was on
It's not an Xbox Live game?
Newgrounds.
Oh, right, okay. So
So
you've been on your
it's-
Newgrounds.
Yeah, so it's a browser-based game.
All right. Tell us about Seedling. Actually, you did tell us about Seedling. You said something about Fez and something about Zelda or something.
Yeah, it's a kind of weird mix between Fez and Zelda. So it kind of audio and visuals are very similar to Fez. Obviously, it doesn't have the whole 3D spinny thing. That's exclusive to Fez. But your lead character looks like the character from Fez.
That's what I noticed seeing a screenshot, and I was like, that's like, why? Why does he? There's no need for him to look like the Fez character apart from, I look like the Fez character.
But I don't know if it was made before. I mean, obviously Fez took a long time for development, so I don't know where in Fez's development Seedling was made.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really nice.
Okay. All right.
If you can describe stuff these days as nice and still kind of get people to play it, the mechanics of it are more Zelda, and certain graphics specifically look like they've been lifted directly from Zelda.
That's certainly more than possible
Like
on there.
boulders and stuff. But the kind of chip music is very kind of Fez, and the premise of it is that there's Oracle who creates you to make him a seed, so you then have to traverse through dungeons to collect these seeds at the end of each one to make a massive seed and bring it back to him. And he kind of goes, I don't care if you're good or bad, just bring me the seed. And that's the size of it. Initially, you don't have a weapon. It's not like Zelda where you kind of have to dodge the guards at the beginning, and then you meet up with your uncle and you get your sword and your shield and stuff, and then you can fight. You do like an entire dungeon before you get a sword, and you have to use the traps in the dungeon to like take out your enemies and stuff.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, kind of like walk onto triggers, and it fires out a volley of arrows and stuff like that. You've only got 3 kind of units of health, and they regenerate every time you come into a screen. So if you've taken 2 hits of damage on the previous screen, walk off that screen into the next screen, those are back to normal. Dying is you just respawn in the same area you're in. So it's kind of easy going. I got to like halfway through the 3rd dungeon and got stuck. I couldn't figure out the puzzle. But it's a pleasant little game. It's worth a look. It's free to play.
Are there any rupees?
No.
Is there a rupee equivalent?
I don't think so. I don't think there was any money at all in there. No,
Okay.
No currency.
Yeah, maybe worth checking out. It seems I always get worried with that sort of game on in a flash-based environment like Newgrounds or Congregate, because you're thinking, well, this can't be that big.
Yeah.
So how invested can I get? Like, if I'm going for a Zelda-like experience in a flash game, odds are that's going to be quite small, and I don't tend to go for it. But this does look interesting.
Yeah. I recommend at least giving it a shot if you're into that sort of thing, or even if you're just bored sitting around. It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, well, I always urge people to go and check out the games on Newgrounds and Congregate, because there's some good stuff up there.
There is.
And we're including more of it on the show. All right, well, should we take a quick break then, and then come back with some more stuff?
Yeah.
Before we do that, though, I want to talk about one of the demos that came out, actually. Because Transformers Fall of Cybertron.
Yes.
Not to be confused with War of Cybertron.
Or War for Cybertron.
War for Cybertron, rather. Came out on Xbox. And it's a pretty slick demo. I'm actually really psyched for this game anyway, despite the fact that I don't like the Cybertron games, because I'm not. Although I like Transformers, I like trucks that turn into people. That's what I like about Transformers, and I don't give a monkeys about Cybertron. You know, like I don't care if there was a war for it. I'm not interested. If it fell, I'm also not interested. But this game looks brilliant.
Yeah, I'm not sold.
How can you not be sold? Did you play this demo, Joe?
I've got it downloaded and I completely forgot about it.
Excellent.
Good job.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's slick as hell. It's like it's High Moon obviously again, and it's I thought the demo was fantastic. It has lots of Uncharted moments in it where you're going along and suddenly a massive sort of cutscene will seamlessly integrate with what you're going on.
The cutscene integration is very slick in it.
Yeah. And it looks well polished. It looks really nice.
It does look very shiny indeed. But it plays just like a mildly upgraded version of the last game.
Yeah, but I think that's fine, isn't it? Well,
No.
people enjoyed the last game. It's kind of third person Gears of War.
They enjoyed it, but at the same time, it didn't really do anything. It's like it's not doing anything.
It's bringing Transformers to the masses.
It is, but I feel there's still a lot of lessons to be learned from Atari's PlayStation 2 outing.
Always go back to that.
Yes, because it's fucking good.
Yeah, but I think that's where we're getting. I think we're moving into that area.
It's taken a long fucking time.
Yeah, it certainly has been a lot. But then
to get back to a PlayStation 2,
that's the way
to go full circle.
Well, okay. So Tony Hawk's is still looking to do that, and Spider-Man also is still looking to do that. It's not an uncommon thing for there to be the second game is good and the rest are terrible. At least there's not been that many Transformers games.
Yeah, well,
not as many as
unless
Tony
you
Hawk's or
count
Spider-Man.
the film ones.
Yeah, the film ones are a bit
Dumb.
now. But this thing, I'm really quite excited about this. It's kind of third-person shooter, isn't it? Basically, but with transformy bits.
Yeah,
it looks so good.
What I can gather from the kind of end of demo trailer and the section where you're playing as a Decepticon and you fly out through a tunnel into a massive open area. And he's like, have you seen the size of it? I think it's massive. And I think the sense of scale in the game is quite impressive. And I'm kind of looking forward to kind of battling against like Constructicons and stuff.
It's got Grimlock in it.
Yeah, it has Grimlock in it, which is always a bonus.
Yeah, new origin story for the Dinobots.
Yeah. So they saved this guy, the producer of this game. He saved the Dinobots.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, they were never going to be used in any Transformers stuff ever again. That was Hasbro's view on it. They were like, it's not part. That's why they've not been used in any of the Michael Bay stuff or come up. They were just gone. Dinobots were gone, and the guys at High Moon really fought to keep them in this game, in particular Grimlock. And had to redesign, obviously redesign them and had to come up with a new origin story for them, which I don't know the ins and outs of because I don't know anything about Transformers. But they went for it, And so now Dinobots exist and will continue to exist in the Transformers universe.
But what you were saying specifically is that this is now canon. This is
exactly.
This is the actual lore to Transformers now. This game, especially the aspect of the Dinobots.
Yeah,
this is their new origin.
It looks awesome.
Fact.
I mean, all I want really from a Transformers game is I want Gen 1 stuff. That would make a huge difference. And although you can unlock. Or not unlock. There's pre-order bonus, isn't there, for Optimus Prime and stuff. And maybe they're unlocks or they'll be released separately anyway. But the characters already look sort of Gen 1-ish.
Yeah.
They're getting closer to it. It's just that whole Cybertron angle that I hate.
I mean, at the moment, Optimus Prime looks like his Power Master version, which was kind of later, towards the end of the 80s.
Means nothing to me. My only issue is if they turn into vehicles, they need to look like vehicles, and they all look like. I don't know. The cars
Space
look
cars,
terrible, man.
yeah.
Bumblebee just looks like an almost new Volkswagen Beetle sort of shape, but with no, nice discerning features or anything like that. It's just kind of like, oh, it's a vehicle or something. But they look cool as robots.
Yeah.
And that I
Though their arms are slightly bit too long.
I don't know.
They're kind of gorilla-esque.
I'm excited for this game. We watched the trailer just before we came on to watch the show, which is an old VGA Awards trailer. Yeah, it's the emotional trailer, like the Mad World Gears of War trailer, isn't it? With Optimus and Bumblebee. That was cool. I think if you watch that trailer, that kind of just goes, yeah, man, this game's like booking it for the best. It looks good. It's out really soon.
27th.
Yeah. So I
21st.
Genuinely can't wait for that. Yeah, I know I've hated Transformers games, so I'm pretty excited for that. We're going to go to a break then now, and we're going to play the music from that trailer.
Yes.
Why not? Because it's pretty cool. It's kind of sappy, emotional stuff.
Yeah.
But this is it.
Nature, nurture, heaven and home. Some evolving by them driven to conquer every mountain shown. But I've never crossed the river. Brave the forest, brave the stone. Brave the icy winds and fire. Braved and beat them on my own. Yet I'm helpless by the river.
Okay, we're back. That was some emotionally charged Transformers music. Doesn't it just get you all gooey inside? Let's move on to then this week's Summer of Arcade title. Fairly big release. You guys have played it more than I have because your internet works. Deadlight.
Yeah.
This was one of the most anticipated games of Summer Arcade, which I'm reasonably confident in going on the line and saying Summer Arcade this year has been a bit
dump.
Yeah, it's not been great. But the two games that stood out the most were Dust and Elysian Tale, which is the last game, which is out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And this one, Deadlight.
Yeah.
Now, all the reports I'm hearing from Deadlight now, since people have been playing it, is that it's not all that great.
No.
Kind of looks visually like Shadow Complex. So it's kind of a pretty looking game.
Man, there's so many references online.
No, but just visually what it looks like.
No, the best one, I think, is War of the Worlds.
Well, yeah, it looks like War of the Worlds as well. That's
Yeah.
true, which looked like Shadow Complex.
The first thing that popped into my head was Limbo, because it's all black. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, but it doesn't. I mean, it's not silhouetted like Limbo, but it doesn't really look like
kind
Limbo.
of flat.
Although interestingly, it plays a lot like Limbo.
Yeah.
So it looks a bit like Shadow Complex. That's kind of War of the Worlds, but that's kind of lesser known, I think. And it's a side-scrolling sort of platform adventure game, I guess, akin to Limbo and Another World.
I'd say it's platform environmental puzzles.
Okay. And it's got like a Prince of Persia vibe to it.
Very much so, yeah.
It's set in the 80s.
Yes.
And doesn't do anything cool with the idea that it's set in the 80s at all, apart from labels a load of achievements after the 80s.
Yeah, music
80s songs.
specifically.
Yeah. It's short. This game is short. That's the one thing I'm hearing more than this. A couple of hours.
Yeah, about 2.5 hours. Depending on how well you cope with environmental puzzles. It's a game that wants you to go back and play it again, though you never will, I don't think, unless you particularly love it, and I can't imagine there's that many people out there that do.
Yeah, you finished it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Zombies as well, shadows.
Yeah, they refer to as shadows. Yeah, not zombies.
It's I mean, this game looks really fancy. It does look really fancy. I think it looks really nice. Although the animation's like really sweet on it. Although there's some sort of Snap 2 stuff that happens that kind of breaks the immersion for me. When you jump into a ledge or something, there's a little amount of sort of like, yep, you made that, and it's like, I didn't really make that. It's not as fluid and as sexy as original Prince of Persia.
Sure.
But you know, it's all right. I mean, tell me about your experience.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I thought it was okay. I clocked it. I finished it. The only real driving force in there to do so was just to kind of see what happens at the end. It's not, the gameplay itself doesn't necessarily propel you on, and there are some really kind of bits where you're just like, man, fuck this game. The one issue I really have with it is that if you fail on something, it loads, and you really don't want it. You want it to bang, start again.
Yeah, do that trials.
There are sections where you do die a lot.
Well, I think that's my issue with it, and why it's like Limbo is there's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah,
there's a lot of you're just booking through a level, and all of a sudden you're died because something's fallen on you. You've fallen off a ledge, and you didn't know
that was coming.
Yeah, exactly. There was no way of you knowing that until you died.
Yeah,
which is something that Limbo did a lot, and really bugs me. It's like, it just seems unfair. It's like, I don't want to die, especially if you're not going to do an instant load.
Yeah,
to get me back in the action.
I mean, the loading time is not long, but it's long enough to irritate.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be very long.
And there's like sections where you literally you're testing the water, you're trying to figure stuff out, or it's just a fucker of a bit where you're pegging along, and there's kind of sections where there's like a helicopter that's gunning at you and stuff, or you're fighting zombies at the same time as trying to dodge a helicopter, and those sections there kind of, you're trying them over and over and over again, trying to figure out the best way to get past that section, and that kind of 7 to 10 seconds of loading, though it doesn't sound long when you say it, it's long enough to irritate a lot. And I think that's one of the major things that puts you off.
Do you get any other weapons in the game? Because the game's like mainly based around you avoiding the zombies rather than direct confrontation.
No, it was initially at the beginning. I think they might have shown kind of a lot of you kind of just trying to get past zombies and stuff. But quite close to the beginning, you get a fire axe. And this is where I also saw references online. People going, yeah, it's quite a lot like I Am Alive, because you've got a stamina bar.
Yeah, that was one of the more interesting parts of it. If you are just mashing the button with your axe and swinging it with all your might, you will eventually get knackered.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
And then you can't push zombies off of you; they'll just chow down on you. And the stamina is used through combat, through climbing up and down things. Though most of the time it's not an issue. It's only kind of every once in a while if you've kind of got 3 or 4 zombies on you and you're trying to get them off and you don't have any of your guns yet. But in terms of weapons, you get a pistol and you also get a shotgun.
Okay.
My major problem whilst playing through was, you'd go for a jump, you'd make it, or you'd fail, and you'd end up sort of surrounded by zombies, and you're just trying to get them off with an axe. Or if you're trying to solve a section, and you're sort of standing there, and then zombies are coming, it's just like, I just want to solve this, and then you got to try and take them down with your axe, and it's like that.
There are places where zombies continuously respawn.
Yeah, I was just about to say exactly the same thing. There's endless spawns, which I don't mind that if it's throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
But if it's just on bits, like, the game doesn't tell you, by the way, endless spawn. So you're like, well, I might just sit here and keep hacking away at them until they disappear, and they're never going to. If the game doesn't tell me that this is a constant flow of people, I could be there forever.
He might mention it. I think if you kill, like, a whole wave of them in this one section, he says to himself, they just keep coming.
Right, okay.
But the issue I had with it is that when I was trying to figure out this environmental puzzle, and you're in a warehouse, you close off the door behind you with shelving, and then the door in the background is like a garage door which is just open, so the zombies constantly stream in there. You're trying to figure out how to get a window to fall down so that you can jump off a ledge and grab onto the window. Well, initially, when I did it, I shot from the ledge and the window fell down. And then I dropped down and went and investigated something and got killed by the zombies. When I came back, shooting from the ledge, not doing it. Went onto YouTube because I was like, how the fuck do I do this? And you have to go outside and shoot from outside to take the window down. So the first time I did it was a fluke, and it just broke. The game just broke by accident. And then it baffled me. So it's like I was trying to do the same thing over again, just wearing out all of my ammo. So there's dodgy bits in it, certainly.
It's just a strange disappointment. This game just looked like it was going to be so cool. and now it just seems a bit like, well, I can take it or leave it.
Yeah, I mean, initially I wasn't that enamoured with it anyway. I'm not a massive zombie fan, so I wasn't kind of, yay, zombies. I was kind of like, I'll give it a go. Maybe. We'll see.
You said it has some cool mini games in it. I've not seen any of these.
Yeah,
so.
where the good 80s reference, the only good 80s reference in it is that on each of the chapters, which there's 3 chapters, there is a Game & Watch type handheld to get. So Retro's 80s one. The first one is basically Guitar Hero.
Okay, and these are like collectibles in the level, are they?
Yeah, and then there's achievements tied to them for beating high scores set on
cool.
on them. Yeah, so there's the Guitar Hero one, which I think by far was my favourite. I can't remember what it's called. It's called like Thunder Rock or something like that.
Wicked.
I can't remember what the second. The second one's like an aerobics game where you've kind of got to copy the instructor even. And then the third one is a proper full colour version of a Play and Watch, Game and Watch, sorry.
Right.
And that's a Haunted Mansion, Maniac Mansion or something like that. And you've got to stop ghosts with a torch. And that's a dual screen one where you can make your character move up and down. And then when you fail, they summon Cthulhu.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that by far, that is probably the best thing about the game.
Yeah, I found the one in the first chapter, and I didn't realise you could do that because I didn't check the achievements first.
I think as and when you find them, it comes up. You have the option instantly. While it says you've collected this, if you press X, you go straight into the game and can play it there and then.
I was just skipping it when it appeared.
Or you come into the menu at the beginning.
That's kind of a nice nod. I mean, they're tiny little mini games, Game and Watch stuff. Anyway, like
yeah.
You know, does anyone really want to play that stuff anymore? Maybe.
Maybe. No, not really.
If you do, you know, I'm going to use this to plug a cool website that I found called picapic.com, which pica-pic.com, which is an awesome little like catalogue of old Game & Watch games, which has like photorealistic models of them, and then you can play them all in your browser, which is kind of a nice thing to do.
Cool.
If anyone wants to check that stuff out, go to that website, picapic.com. But or play Deadlight, but Deadlight you'll get fake versions.
Yeah.
Can you compete with your friends against those?
I don't know.
It does
have a leaderboard, but I don't think it's for that. I think it's for like speed runs through levels and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it seems alright. I mean, I've bought Deadlight and sadly haven't played it because of my internet connection. But the gutting thing about all this now is I kind of don't want to.
Since you've already paid for it, I suggest you play it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I certainly will do, but it's certainly not coming out in the way that I expected this game to. And 1,200 points is a lot.
Yeah, £10. It's a bit of a rip.
Yeah.
Because it's short. It's like 2.5 hours.
What I did play, downloadable wise, on the Xbox 360, was Fallen Angel, which I strongly recommend everyone check out. It's an indie game. It's called Fallen Angel, which is a terrible name. It's a bloody GTA clone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a GTA clone. It's like you've got a full-on open world city environment. You're a character, third person, running around. You can't jack vehicles, sadly, but you go up to other characters and they give you brief missions like, take Susan to the diamond shop so she can buy some diamonds. And you take her to the diamond shop, or a guy will nick someone's purse and run off and you'll have to chase him down and you can fly and kick people and stuff.
Nice.
And his car's moving around. It's a GTA clone. It's terrible. Like, it's abysmally bad. But it's so ambitious. It's unreal for an indie game. I had to check it out. Fallen Angel.
I did download the demo. I haven't tried it.
You really should. The main character's just looks like a greasy, horrible sort of ponytail wearing, sort of almost like the darkness sort of guy.
I noticed on a lot of the indie games on Xbox, it looks like all of the models have just been ported over from Poser, which is the person version of Bryce 3D, which is an environmental thing.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine most stuff is, if not that, something similar.
Yeah,
where
it's very generic kind
stock
of
stuff.
Models. Yeah,
but this was massively intriguing. It was just sort of like, oh my god, it's just GTA. The demo gives you enough of a chance to sort of play a couple of the missions and bum around.
Did you have any weapons?
No, you have one basic spinning overcomplicated spinning flying kick that you can do, that you press the button, wait 4 seconds, then it'll do it, then wait 4 seconds and you move again. And the car's really annoying. Like, you've crossed the road, the car's just oblivious to you, they just hit you and you do that sort of stutter and then carry on again. Right. It's terrible. It's not good in any way, shape or form, but I recommend you check it out. Fallen Angel. So that was my indie game experience this week. Did anyone play any other indie games?
I did play Upgrade Complete.
Oh, did you? Check it out. Yeah,
I finished it. Did all 20 waves.
It's pretty cool. I kind of like that.
Yeah and no. It's kind of like, the concept behind it is good. I just wish there was more to the actual game.
Yeah, you are.
It's kind of like wholly concept driven of like, yeah, you can upgrade your title screen, you can upgrade this, you can upgrade that, but the enemies don't do anything. They just literally come down the screen.
It's more making a statement and making a bit of a joke about upgrades than anything else in the game. The game's like, I mean, you're just shooting enemies that are falling down the screen, aren't you? But I kind of like the way it changes. I like the fact that it does get more Star Foxy as you go.
My issue with it is the vector based graphics, which are like the second upgrade.
Are the best
look
ones.
the best.
Yeah.
It's like the top grade upgrade. It just looks kind of misty.
Yeah. That's kind of true.
Geometric models.
I definitely think it's worth checking. I haven't really gone back to the second one and had a bash through that, but
I might check out Upgrade Complete too.
Yeah, it's maybe worth a look. We played Dead Trigger actually, didn't we?
Yes.
On iOS.
Yeah.
This week, Dead Trigger, which is a first-person shooter, zombie shooter.
Yeah.
On the iPhone and iPad. It was free. That was kind of what I was like. Wow, it's free and it looks kind of cool. I'll put you onto it and you can have a look at that. I played it for a bit. It looks good. It looks graphically good in the way that a lot of iOS first-person shooters look graphically fine now.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. It's animation and just general gameplay where they fall down. But then I found out this one had been in the news a little bit because it had gone free on Android because the developer had complained there had been loads of piracy, so they had to release it free. And there's quite a hoo-ha and a sort of stink about it, yeah? But then it was free on iOS as well.
Yeah.
Presumably piracy wasn't a problem there. So it sounds like maybe they were just sort of grabbing headlines a little bit.
It's weird that they charge you for it in the first place because it has a general kind of free-to-play model to it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's got microtransactions, hasn't it, to upgrade stuff. But
it's not like one of the good games. For example, like Jetpack Joyride, where you've got the option to buy that stuff and you don't need to buy it.
No.
It's like if you're really into this game, you can then buy additional money to spend in-game to increase your odds of getting better at this game.
Well, this is the issue with free-to-play stuff.
This forces you into a position where you need to buy that crap.
Yeah.
Because the first 3 levels, you're playing it and you're like, yeah, this is kind of all right. And then you get to the gunshot. It's when once the gunshot opens, it takes away your awesome machine gun and it goes, right, now you need to buy a gun. So you kind of go, okay, well, I can afford to get like a submachine gun. So you buy a submachine gun. And then it sends you out on a mission, and that level's a lot bigger than any of the previous missions. So I was kind of confused, didn't know where I was going, kind of fuddled my way through it. And then when you come back, you're like, I can't carry jack shit. You can hold like one defensive item, your gun, and there's other slots that are locked. To unlock those slots, you then need to pay in gold bars. After 4 levels, I had 1 gold bar, and I think the cheapest thing to unlock was like 15 gold bars. I was just like, fuck this game, I'm never playing it again.
But this is the whole problem with free-to-play stuff is that, and people are still figuring it out. No one can figure out exactly what to do. I mean, so we talked about it before, but Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, now going totally free-to-play.
Yeah.
Like, full-on, no bullshit. We're going full-on free-to-play, up to like level 50, I think.
Yeah.
Like Skyrim as well, Elder Scrolls Online. They haven't announced their pricing structure yet. I guarantee you they come out as free-to-play. They've kind of got it, and they've got to work something into it. But that model, no one's quite figured out exactly how to do it yet, and it's sort of like you do need to be able to play the game properly and successfully without paying anything.
Yeah,
you just need to be able to do that, and no one seems to really go that route because everyone's too scared of like, well, if you can play the game without paying anything, why would you pay us anything? And it's like, well,
addiction.
Yeah, the reason I'll pay you something is because I'm enjoying the game.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why I'll give you money. If you make it so I've got to pay something, yeah, I might pay you. But odds are I'm going to go.
Stop playing.
Yeah, I'm just going to stop playing.
I think that's where Team Fortress 2 does well because it doesn't. You can play the entire thing without buying anything. They're like, yeah, have a nice cool hat, maybe a new gun, and all this sort of stuff. You can play it perfectly fine with all the standard weapons. Still, people who buy all the bits and pieces still use the standard weapons. But it's just like, hey, how about Pyrovision? Buy these goggles and you can see everything in rainbows and shit like this.
That's kind of a nice little extra thing. I mean, bear in mind though, with Team Fortress 2 as well, it didn't start off free to play.
No,
it was a full on box copy, but it's kind of tricky. I don't know how I feel about it. Like I'm of that opinion. Like I don't mind buying the initial thing.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's games. Yeah, but I don't make me purchase things all the way through. Don't force me to.
No, which would be quite interesting because Hybrid, which comes out today, is it?
Tomorrow. XBLA.
Yeah, that's got microtransactions. So that'll be quite interesting to see how it's handled and why they've got microtransactions.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too forced, but I don't know. It'd be interesting
Considering
one
it's 10 quid to
see.
start off with.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
$9.99.
Well, and it's Fifth Cell, who I trust a reasonable amount. I think with them, they've recently got into iOS stuff with Scribblenauts. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. If you force me to pay for something, or if I'm paying to win, that's where I've got a problem. You know, if I'm getting a massive advantage over other people just because I've laid down some cash, then that ain't right. You're already cheating the game, and you feel like a cheater. You know, you feel like, man, none of this is worth anything because I've just bought my way in.
Yeah.
So I haven't put any of the groundwork in, and largely any of the fun that comes in those games. Those games tend to be stat driven.
Again, coming back to split second velocity, you could buy all of the cars at the very beginning.
Forza does that. You can buy cars by using Microsoft points to get car tokens.
But that on some level I don't mind that too much. Split second I mind it less than I do Forza, you know, because it's like Guitar Hero. Remember Guitar Hero when it first came out? You never used to have access to all the tracks.
Yeah.
And it was like, but that's all I want. All I want to do is play the bloody music, you know. And now, or not now, but the last few Guitar Hero games, you had access to all the tracks from day one. Because the first thing anyone ever did was go on GameFAQs, get the cheat code to unlock all, and then they put it in, and that's how you play Guitar Hero every single time you played it. Because how many times have you gone to someone's house or had people over to go, let's play some Guitar Hero for a session, and oh no, only the first 6 tracks are open. So you know you have to get the other stuff. Someone wants to play, you know, Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragon Force or something. So it's tricky.
I'm not a big fan on them selling the unlocks. I think people should earn them. It's like Battlefield does it as well now. Is instead of, you can go in at level 1, if you pay the Microsoft points, you can unlock absolutely everything, every unlock, every weapon, everything in the game. It's just like, why would you do that? That takes it takes away from the fun of it.
But it takes away the drive of playing the game as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the drive is to unlock the cool shit.
But it's a money grab, isn't it? At the end of the day, and a lot of these games, certainly with things like MMOs, they're just trying to recoup.
Yeah.
You know, millions and millions and millions goes into these things, so you just want to try and get as much money back as possible. But no one seems to have really found the bang-on way of doing it.
Warcraft is obviously still the leader, the market.
Yeah, it is, but it doesn't. Even that, it doesn't do in a massive way, does it? It kind of, you've still got a subscription.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to do stuff, but you can play a lot for free. You certainly can. And again, it didn't start that way.
No.
So yeah, an interesting sort of one. Has anyone played anything else? Joe, have you played anything else?
I've played some Battlefield.
Played some good old
when are you
Battlefield.
Not, Joe? When have you
I can't help it. You know, I've just been faffing about playing Battlefield.
Need your digital crack.
Yeah, I have to. Luke, my brother, has just sort of started doing it again. He's brought himself a premium membership. Someone else we play with now has brought a premium membership.
How is that working out? This whole, what's it called? What is their?
It's called Battlefield Premium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that worth it? Have you got your money's worth from that? I'm interested.
I do feel that I have. I think they've just broken over 1 million people have bought Premium now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and what Premium does is it gives you every single map pack for free. So there's 5. There's going to be 5
Well,
in the end.
It's not for free. It's for discounting them out.
Well, so I think it works out about $32.99, right? You get the 5 map packs that come out, which are £10 each.
Yeah.
Plus they give you new weapons and that with each map pack. And what they do is they do double XP events every month. They do special videos as well. They do some walkthrough guides.
Just for premium members?
Yeah. They do bonus content drops as well. So they're camouflages, things like this that you can unlock. And they're giving a loads away free stuff as well.
Okay.
But just for the discount on the map packs itself, it's worth the money. And then they're just giving you loads of stuff as well.
Do you have a special app or anything on the 360 to go through, like Call of Duty Elite and Waypoint?
No, it's... what you do is you buy Premium, and it's sort of basically just an unlock code. It's like 108 KB, and then as soon as you load up the game, your start menu is different. It just says Battlefield Premium. It has a premium section you can go into where it gives you a calendar of all release dates and bits and pieces like that. But
it sounds pretty cool. I mean, if they've got 1 million people doing it, that's nuts. That's because it's the cost of the game again.
Yeah,
you know, so that's a hell of a lot of chunk of money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're planning to buy all the maps, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have no problem with these passes and season passes and stuff, because if you are planning on getting all that stuff, why not? Get it cheaper.
The thing that pushed me to get it originally was it gives you the map pack 2 weeks before everyone else, so people can buy the map pack 2 weeks after a premium member just for the £10. So that's the reason I went with it originally, was because I wanted to play close quarters as quickly as possible.
I mean, I think that's kind of cool, but I don't like that segregation of the community for that angle. Like, it's cool to get them early, but everyone should just get them early. I don't like you've got 2 weeks up on everyone then, and that kind of like man, if I was just playing Battlefield and I'm not a premium member, I'd be pissed off. I'd be pissed off that you know these maps more than I do.
Yeah, and I think it's just to try and push people more to buy it. But,
You guys just trying to reward something that doesn't cost them anything else, isn't it? So fair enough. There's been a weird bit of news this week. There's come out some interesting stuff. Rise of the motherfucking Triad is coming back. Rise of the Triad. Did anyone play Rise of the Triad?
No, was it
No.
id?
Yeah, no, it was a podgy.
All right.
And you not played Rise of the Triad, have you?
He was like 4 or something.
It was like one of the first FPSs that I ever properly played on my multimedia PC.
Yeah, a friend of mine had it. I never got around to playing it.
Seriously, it had Nazis in it and monks in it and stuff, and more gore than you could ever imagine. Ludicrous jibs is what it used to come up on screen. We used to blow someone up and just eyeballs would run down the screen and stuff.
It was
dual wielding nonsense.
It was post Doom, wasn't it? It was after.
Yeah, it was after Doom.
It was before Quake.
Yeah.
So it was kind of sprites and 3D backgrounds, wasn't it?
It was freaking awesome. It was like Heretic. And it's coming back. Apogee have announced that they're bringing it back. Yay, we're going to do something. I don't know if it's iOS or anything else, but they've made an announcement, which is fairly cool, I suppose. There was a new screenshot from new Prince of Persia that came out.
Right.
Day before yesterday, which looked kind of cool.
Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't see it.
Prince of Persia 02, I think, is the code name for it. Because
Right.
Prince of Persia 0 was a reboot of Prince of Persia that was going to be taking place, which was set in modern times. But they've got rid of that now.
Okay.
And this is the new one. It looked a lot like Assassin's Creed,
Yeah.
if I'm perfectly honest. But it's been described as a cross between God of War and Shadow of the Colossus.
Right.
Which, seems alright to me. But it just looked like Assassin's Creed. It was third person.
The last Prince of Persia I played was very much like Assassin's Creed, just crap. Like, the handling wasn't
Assassin's
good
Creed
on it.
is very much like Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
I think that's...
It's kind of taken over as their lead thing at Ubisoft, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And so, like, you can unlock in the last Prince of Persia, you could unlock Altier's outfit.
Right,
For
okay.
it. And then it was just Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Just for crap controls.
It makes sense. So, but this looks quite cool. I'll be up for a new... I mean, if they can sort Prince of Persia out, which I'm sure they can do after the success of Assassin's Creed, then I'm down for it. They just went too mystical and weird. If you look at the cel-shaded one, whatever that was just Prince of Persia, wasn't it?
Oh, shit.
It's not terrible, but it's so far removed from original Prince of Persia that it could be anything. And they've done that so many times with the Prince of Persia games. There was the movie tie-in one, and then all the weird emo ones before that. I can't remember what they were called now. Sands of Time. Sands of Time was good. And what was the one that came after Sands of Time?
2 warriors, warrior king, warrior
Something like that.
swords.
2 Thrones.
2 Thrones, maybe. So, this has got me reasonably excited for new Prince of Persia.
Yeah, see, I've never played the original. I've still not played it.
You've
to
never
this
played the
day.
original
Never played the
side-scrolly...
original
Oh my
Prince of
god,
Persia.
you really should.
Where you got, what is it? You got like an hour to finish the entire game.
Yeah, and it's sexy. It's beautiful rotoscope stuff like Another World.
Yeah.
And it looks really nice. It's basic, but I love that game. Have you played original Prince of Persia, Joe?
I haven't played it myself, but I have seen it. I know
It's
what
a
you
game
mean.
that
It
maybe an educated
Educated
Joe
Joe,
have got
yeah.
written all over it.
But so yeah, I've never been particularly invested in Prince of Persia. I did have the first of the PlayStation 2 range, and I just didn't get on with it. Just didn't really like any of them to date.
Fair enough. Well, it's had some hits and misses, but it's had some big hits. I can't remember which one it is. It might be. Was it Warrior Within was the other one, wasn't it?
Yeah. I knew there was a warrior and a two side.
I think it's the Rewind one, the Sands of Time,
Sands of Time,
which is the one
that was the
good.
first reboot of the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Which,
I think that's the one everyone went mental
yeah,
for.
I didn't like it.
I think people consider that the best one they've done.
Yeah.
I think my issue was I kept getting lost.
Right, okay.
So I gave up
That
on
sounds
it.
very unlike you, Sean.
Alright, and a new Army of 2.
Yeah.
Army of 3.
Yeah.
I wish it was called Army of 3. It's not. It's called Army of 2. The Devil's Cartel.
Yeah.
You like Army of 2, don't you, Joe?
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. The first 2.
They were bad games.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah,
I thought
they
were dumb.
weren't great, but it was a fun co-op game that I could play with my brother, because they came out at the point where co-op games started to become thinner and thinner.
Yeah.
So it was a good game to play, and I quite enjoyed it. Faffing about, because it had a really good customization system for the guns, and I just loved just faffing about for hours making new guns and bits and pieces like that. And I quite enjoyed it. The first one was really long as well.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan, but this one at least seems interesting. It's the same. What I don't understand about this game is it's trying to go serious. It's trying to be gritty and serious and dirty and nasty and Kane and Lynchy and, you know, all that sort of vibe. And they even say in the press release for this one that it's going to be a darker, grittier tale, yeah? And I'm thinking, Army of One and Army of Two, I'm going to call them, were both pretty dark and gritty things. And this is trying to do that again. It's like, no, now we're going gritty. It's like, well, I don't see how you're going to change it. But also, it's not really, is it? And they wear, like, stupid hockey mask type things. You know, right? They work. Why is it called Army of Two? Okay, there's two of them. It's co-op based. They work for an organisation called Two. I can't remember what it's like. It's like the World Order or something stupid like that.
In the first, what is it in the new one or?
No, in all of them. It's the same thing. They work for an organisation called Two, TWO, and it stands for something.
It's a mercenary group, and in the second one, they own the mercenary group.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I'm not saying it's not.
My point is that's not gritty and dark and real. That's kind of slapstick and stupid. You know, I don't know what it is, like terrorist weekly operations or something. But it's made by Visceral, this one now. So which is what's appealing to me. Yeah. The Dead Space guys.
Right.
So now you've okay, now I'm listening. I'll see what you're doing, because the co-op stuff's an interesting angle. No one's really done that really at the forefront, which is what they're trying to do. Obviously, Gears have 2-player co-ops and Halos have done it and things like that. But Army of Two's really going co-op is our way to do it. That's our angle, yeah. And how they've not given up on it, I don't know, because Army of One and Army of Two kind of sold that many copies. They must have done all right, yeah?
Yeah, I think they did. I think certainly from our shop, they sold relatively well because they're violent and shooting.
Yeah, but, you know, there's a lot of violent shooting games out there.
And like I was saying, I think the co-op helped as well, because the amount of times people were asking for a co-op game, you know, I think that helped its appeal, but like you were saying, they weren't massively great, but they were enjoyable.
Weird, I don't know. I'll keep an eye on this one.
Yeah, the thing that interests me about the new one as well is they've replaced the two main characters, and they're using the Frostbite 2 engine from Battlefield 3 as well.
That's true, yeah. So that's good.
It'll be good to see what they do with that.
Big loving. What they replaced the new characters? You're saying?
Yeah, so it's not Rios and Samus from the first one. So I don't know what the name of the two are, but they're a lot smaller looking guys. And, you know,
he doesn't like it because they're smaller looking guys. We were saying this earlier, I like the beefy one.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting.
What's no crime? Don't gloss over it. What's wrong with the smaller guys? Why?
No, I don't know.
They're just smaller looking guys. I don't like it because they're smaller looking guys.
They're just smaller guys, you know.
All right.
I'll side with Joe in this one. It doesn't happen often.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with the Frostbite 2 engine, especially Visceral from Dead Space and things like that. So.
Yeah, one to watch. I can't. My brain immediately goes Army of Two. It's going to be dreadful. but you know, we'll see how it goes. All right. Well, should we go into some Educating Joe?
I guess it's that time then.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there was a boy named Joe. He didn't play many video games as a child. He was too busy out running and jumping through fields, perhaps stealing apples. But then one day, he found himself inexplicably on a video game podcast, and two guys, Mike and Sean, vowed to take him back through time to play the games he missed. This is Educating Joe.
Okay, Educating Joe. Unirally / Uniracers, depending on where you play it. Joe, how did you like this game?
Fucking weird.
Weird? Why weird? I mean, it's kind of weird. It's kind of abstract.
Yeah, no, it just at first when I was playing it, it wasn't what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting a side-scrolling bicycle weird racer thing.
Yeah.
And then it does that thing where it's like, yeah, you're going that way, but then we're going to change the course and you'll go back that way. And then it's just like, oh, then we're going to add this thing in where the bike swirls, and you can go, oh god, it just became weird.
It's an odd game, and I mean, this game is brilliant. I kind of love this game, but you're right. It's kind of weird when you look at it. It's a 2D racing game where you're a unicycle, just a sentient unicycle. And that's kind of weird, and there's no graphics to the backgrounds or anything really. They're just kind of coloured coloured backgrounds, and you're on curly candy cane courses that go all over the place, and it's all about stuff. Dude, this is Tony Hawk's before Tony Hawk's.
True.
You know, the tricking system in it is nuts.
Yeah.
There's like 3 buttons. There's spin right, spin left, and spin around.
Yeah, it's made by DMA Design.
Okay.
So Grand Theft Auto guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before they were made
3D,
into Rockstar, I guess,
2D,
and before
2D.
3D, and Lemmings.
Oh yeah.
And it's got a bit of an interesting history to it because it was Nintendo published, only came out on the Super Nintendo. It was made by DMA. It uses that same sort of 3D graphics style that Donkey Kong Country used.
Yeah.
And that was part of why it was exciting and got a lot of headlines because they were like, oh wow, it's kind of CG, 3D models and stuff. None of it's 3D actually in the actual game. No. There's just more frames of animation for that unicycle than you could ever imagine. I was reading an interview with one of the designers on it, and they once laid them out, and it's like I don't know, over 100 frames just for the different ways that it can twist and turn and stuff, because it's modelled like a 3D one, but it's then just broken into 2D frames. So it looks a bit like Donkey Kong Country in terms of that sort of style, but then it's just this intense based tricking racing game. It started off as a platformer. It started off as a platform game with a unicycle, and then slowly morphed more and more into this racing game. And then the split screen features come in. So when I mentioned before about there being no real backgrounds to anything, that's all because all of the memory comes into the unicycle itself. I think they said there was something like 4 kilobits left on the cart, but they just maxed it out. But yeah, if you look around for this game, it's called Uniracers in the States and Unirally over here. Everyone and all magazines and everyone, all the press were raving about it. It's a big game. Yet, it didn't do that well. And the reason it didn't do well is because it sold 300,000 copies. And that was every copy there was. Basically what happened was Pixar sued Nintendo for this game, which stopped them making any more copies of it. The 1987 classic Red's Dream, I think it's called, is a Pixar movie featuring an animated unicycle that comes to life and does stuff. And Pixar went, yeah, your game's kind of a lot like our movie. And that's not on, so fuck you. And it went to court, and even though DMA were like, no, look, we rendered a unicycle like you did, and this is what unicycles look like.
Yeah.
The courts just went, no, it's too similar, and you got to stop. And they were ordered to not make any more copies, so only 300,000 were ever made, and that's it. And that's why you don't see it now anywhere else. It's not on WiiWare or Virtual Arcade. It's not on anything else. It's never come back. And it was great. So, yeah, that seems kind of unfair. It was kind of, bear in mind, Pixar weren't even big back then. This is pre-Pixar making it into the masses. And to an ill-informed judge, a CG unicycle is the same as a CG unicycle, right? And so that's why it got damned. But the game is brilliant. And when I say it's Tony Hawk's, you've got awesome tricking systems that you do. You can rotate the bike in the air, can't you? With the shoulder buttons, you rotate the bike to spin forwards or spin backwards. You can also spin it horizontally,
which is the Z
with the buttons, which is also kind of cool. And then you can combine all of those sorts of things
to do.
You can bounce on your seat. You can do like a seat bounce, and every time you do a trick, you get a little bit faster. And then the tracks just twist all over the place, upside down, round some corners, and it's nuts.
You've even got kind of the sections of track which force you to whip around it.
Yeah, there's got and reverse bits. It's got bits that go against you need to avoid that spin you back the other way.
It's gloopy track.
Yeah, there's like bits of purple glue on there that you sort of get stuck on.
It's quite interesting to the fact that when we played originally and talked about Deus Ex, you asked me, is it fun? And I was like, what video games are fun? This is a fun video game. It's like, this hails back to kind of Super Nintendo, where you did occasionally get a game that was fun, rather than just games being fucking cool.
But I don't understand. I don't know why I ever bought this game. I bought it when it came out, and I don't know why I ever did, because there's not a lot about Unirally that looks appealing, I think, to a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old boy. It's kind of like, unicycles aren't cool anyway. No. They're what clowns sit on and stuff, or annoying uncles use. They're not fun, exciting things. It could have been a BMX, but it wasn't. It was a unicycle. The screenshots look pretty bland. But when you play it, it's like, damn, it's fast like Sonic. But it's like the bits of Sonic where you don't hit a fucking enemy every 10 seconds, run into a wall that you can't get past, or not break a box with a shield in it. It's the bits of Sonic where you just keep going.
You're in the zone on Sonic, and everything just flows like...
It has cool tournaments in it. You can do proper championships and stuff. It has an awesome 2-player mode. Which is so good.
I wasn't expecting the different game modes as well. I was just expecting... The way you explained it, it was just you go in one direction, you do tricks.
Right.
When you explained it to me last week, But yeah, where it's got the different, there is just the straight drag races. Then you have your loop tracks, and then you have like trick sections where you've just got to do tricks.
Yeah,
You got yourself a
Like a half pipe.
yeah, and then you're just doing tricks. And I thought it was quite cool the way it done it. But the problem is when you're doing a trick and you land sort of not quite on your top or on your wheels, yeah, you just sort of bounce and then just roll off really slowly.
I just love the look of the unicycles. They get so much character in those little unicycles. And they look, and they just fucking book it through the levels like so fast. It's unreal. It's swish, man.
It does have great animations as well at the end of the races if you beat it. So it's like when I beat it once, it was just there and just banging its seat against the floor because I'd beat it and stuff like this.
It has. Oh, what I like about this game particularly is that the when you pick your unicycle and they're all named, you can rename them, but when they're all named, the first one's called Mike. I don't have to worry about it. It's nice. It's easy. Did it have a Joe in there? Do you know?
No, I had to name one Joe.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a Sean.
Exactly. So there you go. But you can rename them. But you can't put in like expletives because it just says not cool enough. But if you put Mario and Sonic in as well, it also says that's not a cool enough name, which is hilarious.
Yeah, you
know, zing. You know?
Yeah, you tweeted the picture of it saying Sonic and not cool enough, so I thought I'd test it for myself. That was how I was making sure it was the right one because the version I played was Uniracer, not Unicycle.
Yeah.
Unirally.
Yeah, Uniracers was the US, the US version of the game. So yeah, I think this game is pretty slick. I would have loved to have seen more of this, and I could have seen it would have been massive if there'd have been more copies of it out there.
Yeah, I can certainly imagine it on an N64 joypad.
Yeah,
that would have really brought it into its own element, I think, and four-player.
There was talk, I think, at one time of there being a 3D version, sort of rumoured and sort of discussed, but nothing ever happened. I still think the Pixar thing is more of an issue than people realise.
Yeah.
Which just seems so anal and stupid.
They just need to make a unicycle racing game.
Yeah.
Just like proper different unicycles, you can paint them and
if they made it like
unicycle.
Road Rash, so you're on a unicycle pedaling, you can punch people.
I mean, I suppose they could have changed it. They didn't have to be unicycles for this game. They could have made them just some sort of robot thing with a one wheel.
Yeah,
you know, and that would have got around it. But I guess that wasn't necessarily easy
taking
to
it
do.
too far away from the original.
I mean, something that's worth checking out
concept.
actually, if you get a moment, is Google the manual for this game. Just to see it, because the instruction manual for Uniracers is phenomenally awesome. It's got so much words in it. You know that instruction manuals now have nothing in them at all.
Yeah.
Uniracers instruction manual was written by one of the dudes on DMA, and it contextualizes the entire experience about how there's a unigod and all he wishes for is for racing. Like racing is the most important thing to these unicycles, and that's all they have to do. And it explains the whole thing, and it's talking to you like hilariously, like. Come on, you're not stupid, right? You gotta race, you gotta win, you gotta do all this. It's well worth looking at. There's so much text in there. I'm just like, oh my god, there's a whole story based on why these unicycles are racing. And clearly the guy just went like, well, I don't know what the hell to play here. So I'll just make it up. It's cool. It's really, really cool game.
Yeah, it's great fun as well.
Yeah, it's one that I will go back and play again.
Systematically. Every once in a while.
Does it have cool music?
I don't know.
Let's find out. I think so. Is that the end of our Uniracers chat?
Yeah.
Alright, just listen to this for a bit. Next week on Educating Joe, we're going to be looking at UN Squadron.
Yeah.
Another SNES game.
My call this time.
You're cool. Yeah. I can't really remember much about this game, actually. I did own it, but I don't think I actually liked it all that much for some reason.
I initially didn't like it that much, but once you get rolling on it and you start kind of getting all your upgrades and stuff, it's a fucking cool game. It's probably the most interesting side-scrolling shooter on the Super Nintendo.
Big words, Joe.
I think Joe's going to like it.
Big words.
I think Joe's going to like it.
Big words, Joe.
Yeah, it'll be good to see. Side-scrolling shooter, I haven't played one in a while.
Excellent. That's next week. Okay, that was Educating Joe, and that was a show.
It's almost home time.
It's almost home time.
But not quite.
But not quite. Joe, you're not repeating any of the words that I'm repeating of Sean's.
Yeah, you didn't give me a chance.
I gave you plenty of chances. I'm sick of giving you chances. We got another competition to get up in this bitch. But we got some news first. This week, for the first time ever, this is the first time this has ever happened. It's a triple rollover.
Man.
A triple rollover. This week, you have the chance to win not only Bus and Cable Car Simulator San Francisco, not only Bus and Cable Car Simulator San Francisco and Ski Region Simulator, not only Bus and Cable Car Simulator San Francisco and Ski Region Simulator and Police Simulator. No. You have the opportunity to win Bus and Cable Car Simulator San Francisco, Ski Region Simulator, Police Simulator, and, new for this week, London Underground Simulator from our good friends at Excalibur Publishing.
Hang on one sec. When the fuck was that photograph taken?
Yeah.
That's true.
The tube on the front of the box looks old.
It's the circle line. It's the circle line.
I'm talking like 1974.
Can I just say, this does have a quote on the front of this box from a magazine, from an actual press outlet. From Train Sim magazine, okay, which is a pretty good magazine I'm aware of, which is one of the best driving simulators currently on the market. Both the technical and playability aspects have achieved a very high standard.
Wow.
Train Sim magazine, April 2011. So yeah, this I mean, look at the screenshots on this. They look almost photorealistic. Almost, yeah. Big emphasis on the almost. To tell you a little bit about this game, I'm gonna now just give you a little synopsis, and it's worth mentioning that these aren't my words. These are the words of Excalibur Publishing. The third part of the popular World of Subways series puts you in the driver's cab on the iconic Circle Line of the London Underground. Authorised by an Act of Parliament in 1853, the Circle Line became the world's first underground railway and the genesis of the entire London Underground network. With 35 beautifully recreated stations and both above and below ground sections, this is an opportunity to take control of the world-famous C-Stock tube trains as you follow a detailed timetable and a myriad of custom missions. The entire Circle Line can be explored, including the new Hammersmith extension. With over 74 million journeys every year, the Circle Line provides the ultimate subway experience. See the light at the end of the tunnel with one of the most immersive and realistic rail simulations ever created. And also, to go on from that, it's got a list of features here, which is probably worth going through as well, just to really sell it. You know, we know you want it already. 54 kilometres of drivable track. That's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Last game I played only had 46 kilometres of drivable track. And do you know what? Felt a little bit short. Original virtual reproductions of 35 stations. Now, I'm not sure how many stations there are in London.
More than 35.
Yeah.
But there can't be many more, surely. Highly detailed model of the C-Stock train. Awesome. It's highly detailed.
Right.
3D cockpit with rotatable camera.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Pushing out the boat.
That cockpit view does just look beautiful on the back.
Imagine rotating in 3D.
Oh, God.
Exactly. Free movement in the train and at stations. Can I walk through the train? Tickets, please. Tickets, please.
You can walk from the station to the train, yeah.
Tickets, please. Anyone since Hammersmith? Tickets, please. They don't do that on the tube anyway. You've already paid and got your ticket.
Yeah, you
So-
occasionally get inspectors. But
Yeah, they walk through and go.
I think I've seen like
Get
maybe
off.
2
All right.
ever.
Realistic AI traffic. Guessing there's not too much to worry about.
Well, I don't know. Look, is that screenshot got a tube coming towards you?
Yeah, maybe. Dynamic passengers on the platform, which means they get on. Superb graphics, reflective headlights, realistic light effects at night time. Sweet. True to original driving noises and sounds. Awesome. And realistic announcements recorded. Please mind the gap.
Yeah.
Please stay away from the doors. Can you not lean on the doors, please? That's all they ever say in London. If you go to London on the tubes, someone always goes, "You're not lean on the doors, please. Step away from the doors. Don't lean on the doors." And occasionally when the tube goes, it shunts and stops because some fucker's leaning on the doors. And then someone goes, "Can you please get off the doors, please?" And that's all you ever hear. So maybe that's in here as
I
well.
know Charing Cross at one point they used to go, "Don't feed the buskers."
Don't feed the buskers.
Oh, we have authorised buskers. Only feed them.
I'm pretty pumped with this. I don't know whether you agree. What's your favourite tube line?
Bakerloo's the one I use the most frequently.
Bakerloo. Yeah, I'm a big Northern Line fan.
Right.
Joe?
I'm not a big fan of any.
Not a big fan of any. This is a good way of going. I've never been to the London. to the London. Yeah, I'm not sure it's the Circle Line though. And judging from the picture on the front of this, it definitely isn't. But this seems all right. You know, Train Sim magazine said it achieved a very high standard. So yeah. So if you want to win that, as well as a copy of obviously the San Francisco nonsense, the police thing, and the ski thing as well, that's 4 games. All you've got to do is write to us. Write to us at thingsweplay@gmail.com, answering this simple question. Yeah, why not? We're gonna make it so easy now, because I don't want these games in my house anymore. Okay, we need to explain for everyone. We haven't purchased these games. These are competition prizes. These have not been used. These are for you to win. I don't want these sitting on my living room shelf. People think I simulate everything. Okay, it's causing a problem. So in order to win this wonderful prize, as well as the 3 previous wonderful prizes from our good friends at Excalibur Publishing, just write to us, thingsweplay@gmail.com, and tell us what episode number this is. The episode you're listening to. What episode number is it? It's really simple. It's written on the download link. It's written on the podcast page. We say it at the beginning of the episode. Just let us know what episode it is. I'll even give you a clue. It's episode 29. So, yeah, email us in. First person to do that. You've got 7 days, obviously, until the next episode. We will announce you on the next show. And you could win 4 fabulous simulation games from our friends at Excalibur Publishing.
So when people come around to your house, they think that you like simulating.
Yes. Imagine those conversations. I have these conversations. You could have them. People come around. All right, Tony, how you doing? Yeah, not too bad. Just, a bit of a cold. Oh, I see you like to simulate London Underground services. Yeah, I do a little bit. Wow, you're an exciting and entertaining individual. Do you like ski regions or stone quarries? As a matter of fact, I do. That could be you. Let us know. 7 days' time. Email us, thingsweplay@gmail.com with your answer. You could be the winner of 4 brand new games. We love games. You love games. It makes sense, really, doesn't it?
4 games.
4 games. Yeah, it's a podcast, 4 games, where you can win 4 games.
For free.
For free. And other assorted numbers. In the meantime, we're going to disappear. Do check thingsweplay.net for all your wonderful gaming goods. Obviously, check us out on Twitter @thingsweplay, or you can just email us with random comments or queries or questions or suggestions at thingsweplay@gmail.com. Next week, we're going to be talking about some new games. Hybrid. I'm quite looking forward to Hybrid, 5th Cells, awesome XBLA shooter, and hopefully the game that's going to save Summer of Arcade for me, if my internet comes back on. We're also going to play some other games. You're going to get back into Minecraft, PC Minecraft, Sean.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about that.
1.3.1.
Yeah. And whatever other new releases are coming. There'll be something.
Hopefully.
Yeah, will be. All right, we'll catch you in 7 days' time. See you.
Bye-bye.
Next Tuesday.
Goodbye.